Latest Rams news and headlines. Let's get into it. So the Rams ended up cutting 5 players yesterday, including running back Raymond Calais, defensive back Jaron McVay, running back AJ Rose, wide receiver JJ Koski, tight end Kendall Blanton. Now the most surprising cut out of all of these was tight end Kendall Blanton. It was a great depth piece for the Rams at tight end, who really stepped up in the playoffs when his number was called and really did everything you could ask for, especially for a backup tight end. He was just another example of the Rams developing a young player behind the scenes and being able to step up when called upon. The more I look at this, the more it makes sense to me. Yes, he's definitely a skilled player who did contribute for the Rams in a big way and really helped us get to that Super Bowl victory, but the Rams have great depth at that position with obviously tight end Tyler Higbee, then behind that Brycen Hopkins, who's been playing really well. I think the Rams are going to ask Jacob Harris to go back to that tight end position. More importantly, I think the Rams ended up doing this so they could open up a spot for Lance McCutcheon at that wide receiver position so they could keep a little bit more players and keep him on the active roster. Lance McCutcheon has almost put up 200 yards in 2 preseason games for the Rams, as well as catching 2 touchdowns and just being a dominant guy who can go up and get the football. He's been a huge surprise for the Rams and for the Rams fans, and I think they want to end up keeping him on the active roster, and that just means at the end of the day you're going to have to make tougher cuts like tight end Kendall Blanton being cut. Fortunately for Blanton, he did end up signing with the Commanders, so hopefully he can find a good role for them. I'm sure he'll be a good contributor for the Commanders moving forward. A couple of injuries ended up happening in that Rams preseason game. Rookie right guard Logan Bruss ended up tearing both his MCL and his PCL, and he's expected to miss the entire season for the Rams. Really unfortunate for him, especially for a young player. As you're trying to make a name for yourself, you really want to get your name out there and impress the coaches, but he wasn't having the best preseason, had some flashes here and there, but he's going to end up missing the season, so expect to see Coleman Shelton there at the right guard position for the entire season. Rookie edge rusher Daniel Hardy also suffered a high ankle sprain, so he's going to miss some time for the Rams. There's not a clear timetable on that so far. I wasn't expecting him to get any of the starting reps there opposite of Leonard Floyd. I think it's going to be more of Justin Hollins, Terrell Lewis, and Chris Garrett, but definitely unfortunate for him, but it does not appear to be more of a long-term injury. Now let's get into some standouts from that Rams versus Texans game, one being Jonah Williams, a guy who's just always in the backfield disrupting things, ended up getting a strip sack too there. He was looking really good in the preseason game. Another one that I have is Lance McCutcheon. He just continued to show his dominance, almost put up 100 yards against the Texans. Unfortunately, on that little Hail Mary play, he wasn't able to get out of bounds and maybe give the Rams one more play. He ended up staying in bounds and keeping it going, but nonetheless, he's still contributing, being very consistent through these 2 games. Hopefully, he can step up for the 3rd game. Second-year cornerback Robert Rochelle's also been looking really good through these 2 preseason games. Very instinctual, breaking up these passes, not really getting any of these pass interference calls. He's looking like he's grown a lot more from year 1 into year 2. I know it's preseason, but he's definitely looked a lot cleaner to me, and he's looking like more of a complete football player. It looks like with how much playing time he is getting in the preseason that they have David Long Jr. locked in at that cornerback 3 spot, so I think Robert Rochelle's kind of battling to get to that spot. But to me, he's looking really good, and who knows, he could sneak up into that cornerback 3 role. And lastly, from the Texans game, I really thought that Bryce Perkins did stand out once again, just continuing to build on those preseason games. Wolford played that whole first half against the Texans starters, so he had pressure in his face all day. There was not great blocking. He really couldn't do much, but for Bryce Perkins, I know he was playing the backups on the Texans defensive line and just the entire defense, but Perkins looked like he was doing really good of creating these off-schedule types of plays. Obviously, those hurdle moves. He just continues to show that fight and will. A really feisty player, hard to bring down, and has a lot of fight and competition in him. So that is all the news for you guys, all the updates. But it's been me, Rams House. Hope you have an amazing day. Horns up and God bless.